Hello, my intelligent students. How are you today? Today we are going to look at another topic altogether, and that topic is primary auxiliary verbs. Remember, we have treated modal auxiliary verbs. I told you there are two types of auxiliary verbs, modal auxiliary and primary auxiliary verbs. So, if you are new to this, please go back to the previous lessons for the modal auxiliary verbs. And if you are new, please subscribe and share to your friends too. Like and make your comments. Your comments are also appreciated. If you are parents and you have children in secondary schools, please, they need to be here so that they will be successful in their examinations, both internal and external examinations. So, like I told you, today we are looking at primary auxiliary verbs. Now, what do we mean by primary auxiliary verbs? They are the group of verbs that are used with the main verbs to form different tenses. What do we mean by tenses? Time of actions. For example, we have present tense, past tense, continuous tense, and so on. We also use them to form voices like active voice, passive voice. We use primary auxiliaries to ask questions, to make negative statements, and to add force to the main verb. Primary auxiliary verbs are a group of verbs used with the main verbs to form different tenses. That is present, for example, present tense, past tense, continuous tense, etc. We also use them to form voices like active and passive voices. Also use them to ask questions, and make negative sentences or negative statements. And negative, okay, ask questions, negative, okay, make negative statements and add force to the main verbs and add force to the main verbs. So they can add force to the main verbs, okay? And I want you to know that these primary auxiliary verbs, when used with the main verbs, they don't have meaning on their own. They don't have much meanings on their own. And we have different types of auxiliary verbs. Types of auxiliary verbs. Yes, we have three types of auxiliary verbs. We have the verb be, be. And under this verb be, we have different forms. We have am, is, are, were, being. And we have another one, the verb have. Under have, we have different forms like have, has, and had. We also have the verb do. Under do, we have do, does, and did. They are all primary auxiliary verbs. So, types of auxiliary verbs. 1. The verb be. Like I told you, be has different forms. Be has different forms like am, is, are, was, were, been, and being. Then the second one, we have the verb have. Have. Under have, we have also 3 forms like have, has, and had. Then the third one is do. The verb do. The verb do. It has 3 forms too. They are do, does, and did. Now, we will take them one after the other and use them in sentences to help you to know how to use them very well. So we are starting with the verb be. Be. And under be, we have seen what we should have then and what we have there, like am, is, are, was, were. So let's pick them one by one and use them in sentences. The first one, am. Remember, we use am with I. I am going to the market. I am going to the market. Am here is the primary auxiliary. Used with the form of main verb going, and together they form present continuous tense. Let's also use is. Is. So under is, we can use he or she or it with is. It's a singular verb. Okay, let's use he. He is reading a novel. He's reading a novel. So is there is the primary auxiliary used with a form of the main verb reading to also form present continuous tense. Let's continue. Now let's use others too. We have are. Are. Okay, let's use, are is a plural verb, so we can use we or they. Okay, we are working on the farm. Are is the primary auxiliary verb used with the form of main verb working, so also form present continuous tense. Then let's use was, which is past tense, and this was is a singular verb, so we will use it with either he, she, or it. Okay, he was playing football when I arrived. He was playing football when I arrived. So was there is the primary auxiliary verb used with the form of main verb playing to form past continuous tense. Where, use where. Let's use it in sentence. And remember, it's a plural form of the verb are but in past tense. The verb is but in past tense. Okay? They were eating. They were eating. Or let's use, okay, they were eating when the mother came back. They were eating when the mother came back. Where is the primary auxiliary used with the main form of the verb eating. Now it remains been and being. Let's also use them. Now we want to use been or being as primary auxiliary verbs. Been. I have gone to the beach. I have gone to the beach. So have and gone. Have is the primary auxiliary verb used with the main verb gone. Okay? Okay, let's use been. Oh, sorry, we did not even put been there. There's a mistake. I have been, or maybe watching. I've been watching. Let me use this to rub it off well. I have been washing since morning. So I've been washing. Been washing is the being there is primary auxiliary verb used with the form of verb washing. Okay, so let's use being. The house is being painted. See, many students find it difficult to differentiate between these two verbs, being and being. You see them using being when they're supposed to use being, or using being when they're supposed to use being. The difference is that we usually use have or has or have for being. But when it comes to being, you can use is, are, was, were for it. So take note so that you don't make that mistake. Then we have other forms. But before we go to other forms, I want you to know that, like we said, we can use these auxiliary verbs to make negative statements. We can also use them to ask questions. I will use maybe one or two to demonstrate what I mean. For example, in making negative statement, you can say, okay, let's say question. Let's use questions first. Questions. We can use was. Okay. Was he in the party yesterday? Was he in the party yesterday? You see, we have used it for question. Okay. We can use where too. Were they able to finish their homework? See, so we can use them to ask questions. We can also use them to form negative statements. So let me use about 2 again for negative statements. Negative statements. Okay, when we say negative statements, it means statements that contain not. Statements that contain not, N-O-T. Let's write, for example, I wasn't there yesterday. I wasn't there yesterday. See, it's the same thing I say I was not there yesterday. So wasn't is a negative statement. We can also use maybe the present form of it to form negative statement. They aren't in the classroom. That is, they are not in the classroom. That is what we mean by negative statements. Okay, now let's go to other forms too. Let's go to other forms. Other forms of primary auxiliary verbs. We have the verb have. Have. Remember, under have we have, has, and had. Have, has, and had. Have is used for plural subject. I hope you know what we mean by subject, the performer of the action. Then has is used for singular subject, and had can be used as past tense. It can also be used to show that something has happened before another one. So let's use them in sentences. Like have. They have gone to school. Okay, have and gone. Okay, we also have is the primary auxiliary, while gone is the form of a main verb, go. Then we also have has. Let's use has too. Has. Yeah, we can use singular form like that's singular subjects like he, she, and is for has. Okay, she has eaten the meal. Has is the primary auxiliary together with the form of the main verb, eating. So before we continue, I want you to know that anytime we use these 3 verbs, these 3 primary auxiliary verbs, have, has, and had, they must be followed by past participles. That is what you are seeing here. Past participle of go is gone. Past participle of eat is eating. Okay, let's use the last one, had. Like I told you, use it when something happened before another. For example, the guest had left before the arrival of the host. The guest had left before the arrival of the host. Remember, we're talking about one person here. So we have had as the primary auxiliary with the main verb left. Okay, so left here is past participle. Okay, so like I said before, these verbs too, we can use them to make negative statements. We can use them to also ask questions. Okay, so let's use them. Now, we use them as to form questions. For example, have you finished? Have you finished the house chores? So here we use have to ask question. Have you finished the house chores? You can also use has. Like, has he done his assignment? So that is about question. We can also use them in negative statements. Negative statements. For example, we can use have. And remember, negative, not will be there. Okay? I haven't, or I have not gone or eaten my meal, or I have not swept the floor. I have not swept the floor. Okay, this is it. Haven't. This is a negative statement. You have it with the main verb, swept. Then we can also say, okay, let me use he. He hasn't come to school. He hasn't come to school. Has not come to school. So these are negative statements. So let's go to the last one, which is the verb do. Remember, under do we have do, does, and did. So we use them to also show the forms we have done with other ones. For example, let's start with do. Do. Do can be used, or the three verbs can be used to add force to the main verb. That means without them, the main verb can still function. But their being there is to add force to those main verbs. Like do. Let's use do. They do believe, or let me use I do believe that the man is a kind person. I do believe that the man is a kind person. Let me use others too. That is does and did. Remember, do is used for plural subject, while does is used for singular subject, and did is the past tense of both. Okay, does this time around. Okay, she does plays every Saturday. She does plays every Saturday. You can say she plays every Saturday. That does there is just to add force to that main verb, plays. Okay, let me use did. Okay, they did see the man. They did see the man. They see the man. This did here also add force to see. You can remove it and the sentence will still make sense. Okay? Alright. So let's use them to ask questions and make negative statements too. Questions. You can use do. Do you watch American movies. You put question mark because it's a question. Then we use does too. Does your sister likes beans? Then did, which is the past tense of both. Did they left the zoo on time? Okay, did they leave? Please, sorry for that mistake. Did they leave the zoo on time? That is question. Okay, then we can also use these three verbs for negative statements. Negative statements. Remember, statements that has not, or statements that have not in them. So we have do. I don't eat late night food. So this is a negative statement because of that not. It's like I do not. Then does. He does not read for his examinations. He does not read for his examinations, or he doesn't read. Okay, then did, which is the past tense. Did they did not see the man? That is negative sentence. All of them are negative sentences. That is how to use these primary auxiliary verbs. I hope you've understood everything about these primary auxiliary verbs and how to use them. Thank you very much. Like I said before, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe so that you'll be getting the lessons each time they are posted. And share to your friends too, so that they too can gain from it. Please, I want you to make your comments. Your comments are appreciated, and also like. Thank you very much. See you next time for the next lesson.